Good morning. It's Sunday, March 17th, and I was reading an article yesterday about Bernie Sanders. Now, Bernie Sanders is a very progressive senator, as you all know, but this is a crazy idea that he has, and I don't agree with it. He wants to bring a 4-day work week into our universe, and is contending that the workers would be paid the same for 8 hours less work every week. Now, I see no reason for creating a 4-day work week because, as you noticed, during the pandemic, people were working all kinds of ways, and I'm sure none of them were counting the hours that they were working. And I don't think it's appropriate to assign a fixed number of hours to the work. Right now, we have a 40-hour work week as a law of sorts, but I had jobs over my career before I ended up being a paid employee, and it didn't matter how many hours I worked. But when I worked in the post office, we worked an 8-hour day. And when I was working on some other jobs, I might have been working 7 hours a day. I don't remember exactly. But once I was really doing my job, I was working as long as I had to get whatever work done in the time that it was supposed to get done. So sometimes you worked 50 hours to get the job done, and sometimes you worked 35. As long as you got the job done, that's all that mattered. And I think that's all that's important. And when you're messing around with the working hours, but we allow a $7.50 minimum wage in many states, we're not going to help anybody. And certainly no employer is willing to pay employees the same amount of money for 8 hours less work every week. So what is he wasting our time for? What is he talking about? He doesn't know what he's talking about. I think jobs should be created to get the work done. So if you have a job and you work 10 hours a day, that's it. You should get paid for 10 hours a day. If you can do the same amount of work in 8 hours, then you get paid for 8 hours worth of work. Or you get paid and you sign up for a 35 or 40-hour work week. I don't see making a 32-hour work week for American workers as a benefit. It might benefit them because it might give them the opportunity to work a second job. Why don't we get everybody a decent wage? Why isn't he campaigning for a decent wage instead of a ridiculous 32-hour work week? Now, I know there are many people that have jobs and they have different schedules in many companies. I think the company is responsible for creating the proper working atmosphere for the type of work that has to get done. Not every job is equal in the methodology required to produce the product or the information or whatever it is you're working on. Supposing you are required to write papers or something like that, maybe you should get paid by the paper, by the article. Maybe if you were a painter, you get paid by the room or something like that. There's many different ways to pay people, and that pay schedule should be the way they want to get paid, whatever you can work out with your employer. Because I had many cases where employees who worked for me had situations in their lives, and I allowed them to work at home to meet their human needs. And then we had employees that worked for us that decided to move away. They moved to the Midwest, or they moved to Arizona or something like that. I allowed them to work from those places as long as they could get the job done. So you see, this is not about setting a standard for the whole country. This is about teaching employers and employees how to work in a beneficial atmosphere. You don't have to have a fixed number of hours to work to get many jobs done. And then if you do have a situation like that, then you have people who drag their feet because they want to earn another $20 or $30 or $40 a week. What work is not the same for everybody, and not everybody doing the same job does it the same way and does it well. There are many people who have jobs that are really beyond their ken, but they got them, and sometimes they're protected by unions and things like that. So I'm against the 32-hour work week. I don't think that would benefit American workers at all. I'm not sure it would benefit any workers at all. If the company feels that you can do the work in 32 hours, let them do it. But obviously that's not going to happen, because if you have a 32-hour work week, you're going to have to employ more workers. And I don't think the basic pay is the issue. It's the benefits and the cost of health care and lots of other things that go into paying. So supposing I give people a 32-hour work week, but I don't give them 4 weeks of vacation. I only give them 2 weeks or 1 week of vacation. How about that? How about people do things that counter giving them the 32-hour work week? Take away some benefits. They raise their health insurance costs. They do lots of things. Employers will be forced to do lots of things to compensate for a 32-hour work week. And that's not even considered. I mean, you have this latest thing out that says X, Y, and Z will occur in this 32-hour work week. The benefit of the 32-hour week will give you this, this, and this. But employers are not going to be reasonably impressed by any of those things. Because when you have to get the job done, you have to get the job done. And a 32-hour work week is not going to get the job done unless you have more people work. So why are you doing that? Are you doing that to put more people to work? Why don't we have more benefits, higher minimum wage, etc.? So I think it's a stupid request, a stupid idea. We should be fighting for a much higher minimum wage than a 32-hour work week. Hours don't mean that much. How about fighting for better health care? A universal health care system that really, really works. Our healthcare system is the most expensive in the world, and it's not as good. It's nowhere near as the healthcare systems in other competitive countries. So wake up, Bernie. Look at the whole picture. Healthcare is very important. You should work on that. So why aren't you wasting your time fighting for that cause instead of a stupid 32-hour work week? Bernie, you gotta get your act together. Another Bernie Sanders madness. Have a great day. Take care. Bye.